we felt like DEP was there to protect invenergy and not the people who need protecting, the people who live here. We feel as though we're arguing with you people about what we want, and the invenergy can come in and say, this is what I want, and we're the ones that have to defend ourselves. The people who have elected you to represent us have to defend ourselves. And you can just get a company who's got a very deep pocket to come in and say what they want, and the burden of everything is on us. Very frustrating,
Let me
Rick.
just restate what I was trying to, and I don't misunderstand me, and I think they get, and I get what you're saying.
I'm not so sure
They're
based on
elected-
everything I hear and see.
They're elected to represent just about 5,000 residents in the borough. Now, and I'm
Who's
not saying
speaking?
this sarcastically, but your group does not consist of the entire borough of Jessup. And I'm not, please, don't take that, I'm not saying that to be.
But where's the other voice
But you
coming
keep
from?
saying
I don't
we
hear
the
it.
people. They
But
have
we
to
do
look at
care.
it from a larger scope. You see, that's.
Who else is coming telling you they want it?
I do.
Look at the numbers.
Lots of
You're
people.
I'm
one.
from Jessup, so what?
Lots of people. Jerry,
Jerry,
I
there's
hear
not
all the
a-
time.
Maggie, show me.
We can't
I
argue.
come to the meetings, I don't see a petition.
I keep saying to them, come to the meeting, but that doesn't mean that they don't come to me.
You can't-
If you came to me and said, Maggie, I don't want it, and he came to me and said, Maggie, I do, does his lessen
No,
yours?
that's 1-to-1.
Well, but I'm getting the same amount.
Okay,
Trust me.
we'll see what the people say.
Jerry, they know.
That's-
I have a
Truly,
question.
we know by now. I mean,
Do you know how
it's been-
frustrating this
we're-
is, Jerry?
Do you know how frustrating it is, Maggie?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Well, I understand your frustration. Try living in this town that's gonna have this monstrosity on top of us polluting us.
We're living the nightmare, let me tell you.
Okay, I'm done talking, thanks.
Thank you, Jerry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just gonna say, I mean, the company that just came here before, SLIBCO, or, you know, the proposal they made,
Can I have your name, please?
yeah, Joe Teeny. You know, that's what we should be looking at, you know, people want jobs at some point, that's gonna generate the jobs, but it's not gonna be putting us at a place where it's gonna take us backwards. We have to be looking forward, develop that mountain, and you guys gave them more questions than I've heard anybody, maybe doing the same to invenergy. You gave them more hassle to build good quality buildings, you know, on the other side of the land, right, because it wasn't zoned right. You know, we haven't zoned that, you know, so I understand they go through that,
Yeah.
and
We
again,
do
I
that
don't
with
see
every
it,
project.
right, and I don't see it with invenergy, they seem to come in with their smart
Well,
lawyers
Can
and.
I stop you 1 minute,
Yeah,
Joe?
go ahead.
And respectfully, Venergy's been before this council a zillion times since 2012, and you, unfortunately, nobody was around to hear all the questions
I
that
didn't
were
know at the
thrown at
time.
them. No, and I'm not blaming you for that, I'm just saying, you missed a lot of the stuff that we had held their feet to the fire on the request for the noise ordinance amendment, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But one big final thing, please keep in mind, we are nowhere near, we're not even, this is not about approving this plan. I know you people are gonna say, your group is gonna say, you know, once you approve the zoning, no. And I keep stressing that to them. There's a whole process, conditional use process that these people, this invenergy has to go through to get their approval. Not to mention, back to Lackawanna County Planning, back to Jessup Planning, back to DEP, all permits requirements. But there's very intense exacting requirements in the code for conditional uses that they have to come back. They haven't even gotten there.
Well, I hope it's not.
That's
like
not even a
DEP,
first,
it's gonna seem
they are not even a
overstamping
first
it, like
base
a
yet.
DEP thing, but, I mean, they're looking to build a child.
So that's
a
why you
daycare.
haven't heard.
They're looking to build a daycare, I mean, are they really gonna build a daycare underneath the 3 towers? Come on.
But Joe, that's why if you haven't heard a lot, and I agree with you, you haven't heard a lot of questions coming from council, because you know why? We've been stuck on this zoning curative amendment thing, which technically does not directly involve, you know, what the conditions are, the plan, or this and that. I mean, indirectly it does, but it's about a zone change. So I wanna make that clear, so my guess is, if you get that far, you'll hear that. Maybe you won't. Is that? Go ahead, Rella.
Okay, I was like,
Jimmy's already fighting.
I think maybe I misunderstood, but what you said before is one of the reasons you can't consider what Attorney Miles submitted was because the opposing party, Invenergy, will not be able to question him. What
Rel-
if they do on Thursday?
Not that they can't question it, but it really opens the door again for evidence to come in outside of the record. But based on what I just said to Jerry, I'm hoping that you're rest assured that even if, my recommendation to council is, be careful, don't start accepting stuff that's outside the record. However, understand, be comforted by the fact that most of what's in that proposed cure, based on my initial reading of it, is already in the record for you. So council is gonna be able to consider it, not necessarily in the form submitted by Attorney Miles a few days ago, but it's there. It's in his legal brief, it was in his arguments, it's all there. And they're perfectly entitled to consider that. Yes,
To be clear, are you
Jason.
saying,
Jason
is it possible for the council,
Petrachko.
Petrachko, P-E-T-R-O-C-H-K-O, is it possible, now that they've determined the M2 zone was exclusionary, to cure that zone? That's one question.
It's been proposed, it's in the record, certainly it can be considered, as will all the evidence, yeah.
Number two, if you were to take that approach now to cure the M2, you wouldn't be granting a variance, you'd be rewriting the zoning ordinance.
It's not a variance.
It would be rewriting the ordinance to,
It's
it'd be
legally not,
amending the ordinance to,
it's legally not a variance, no,
Right, okay.
It's a cure.
right, yeah, and no, the
It's
third,
another way to cure the defect, yeah.
the third question is, a proposed cure doesn't sound like evidence.
No,
It doesn't sound like evidence, so I don't understand, I feel like you're trying to say the rule of presenting evidence is what
it may.
stops you from
may-
listening to the
May
cure.
or may not be. What it is, Jason, was what I would argue is it's a submission that would fall under the definition that I read earlier, and I'll just highlight, communication, reports, staff memoranda, or other materials. It falls under that,
Do you,
which is prohibited,
do you,
outside of the record.
if you can answer,
But
can-
again,
can-
rest assured that what the content of that is already in the record.
I understand, no,
I
and,
wanna
and
keep saying that.
I have just one last thing. Can you think of one legitimate purpose of changing the zoning of the M1A instead of simply curing your M2?
That's gonna be decided at the next hearing.
Okay.
The next meeting, I should say, hearing. No more hearings. That's the goal is, we're done with hearings. No more hearings. Well, unless this goes through, and then the conditional use application comes in, which I expect we probably have in our hand in it within a day.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do
probably.
too.
And then we'd have to, now we gotta schedule conditional use hearings, so hearings all over again, but on the conditional use.
Jeff.
That answer?
Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Jeff Smith. I believe that this group, I think that we can have a good town again. Council can heal, everyone can heal. I think one of those processes is looking at every avenue. I read an article on Delaware Online. It's amazing. University of Delaware, they had a natural gas plant, putting in a smaller one, 53 megawatts on 6 acres. It is backed up with a technology center. It feeds a technology center and their industrial park and sells the rest of it to the grid. It's the perfect answer to your M2. I would recommend everyone read it because it's thousands of jobs.
53 megawatts on how many, 6 acres?
6 acres.
Tell us again, Jeff, Delaware.
Delaware Online.
University of Delaware?
And it's University of Delaware. And I can email it to Rick and he can send it to you. Rick, go ahead and.
How many megawatts, Rick?
53 megawatts.
Jeff, here, type in my email. You don't mind, would you mind just
And
typing
the
it?
article
You know? Okay.
is on that
Law
site,
law
Jeff?
office, one word.
Yeah. Law
Law office, one word.
Well, then in this area already lost it, that, I don't reverse that one.
ATTY.
ATP.
Fanucci, F-A-N-U-C-C-I.
A-N-C.
F-A-N-U.
Oh, you.
C-C-I. Dot net.
It's a great,
Thanks.
and the technology center will supply work. You guys have to build a machine and it's a great spot for that. It'd be great for the community.
Thank you, Jeff.
That's the technology center that's on campus.
No, it's actually a private company that has cloud space and everything else, but it also can supply to the campus. And it fits great into a small community. It is like The answer for our jobs problem, for our tax revenue problem, is everything. All we need to do is market it to these people.
53.
And their, this decibels is under 60. They're, it's exactly what your zoning was created for. It just needs to be marketed to these companies. Jessup could make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And everybody could have jobs, just not union. So I'm just throwing that out there to read it independently. I think it is the answer, and it's the perfect, it's a, you know, it fits everybody.
Thank you for that information, Jeff.
Anybody else?
Corey, I didn't know you were in the room before. I didn't see, did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Come up and see me before you leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody else, so we'll adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second?
Meeting adjourned.